Joining me now, Democratic Representative Raja Krishnamoorthi of Illinois, a member of the House Oversight and Reform Committee. First, I just want to get your response to what we were just listening to, Congressman. What sort of jumps out there for you?
Well, I think on the one hand, they like to associate themselves with positive PR efforts that purportedly make them champions of fighting climate change. But on the other hand, as the lobbyist details in that video, they fund efforts to question climate science. They fund efforts to kill legislation. And, basically the purpose of our investigation is to expose this so that the American people know exactly what they're doing, even as we're trying to move forward in an urgent way, legislation to battle climate change right now.
Your investigation of the fossil fuel industry has earned comparisons to Congress's attack on big tobacco in the 1990s. I want to play a clip from one of those hearings. Take a listen.
The initiative that they're trying to get on the ballot is described as something that will strictly protect non-smokers in strict regulations and tough smoking restrictions. But in fact, this is a campaign paid for by the Philip Morris Company, which you can see on the small print. You can't see from there, but when we're looking at the envelope, Californians for statewide smoking restrictions, a committee of restaurants, hotels, and Philip Morris, Inc. What I understand this petition would put on the ballot is a preemption of all the local laws that do protect the non-smokers, in fact, and would weaken it with a statewide standard.
So I got to say, Congressman, that congressional visual aids have improved very much in the past 20 years. Now you'd be able to see what Congressman Waxman was pointing to there. But have you been thinking about those hearings as you prepare for your own?
Yes, I think that's an excellent illustration of how an industry can kind of cloak its actions with PR measures, and in the process, basically distract and divert attention from what they're really doing. One of the things that the fossil fuel industry has done is fund 91 different groups to question climate science. They have spent $1 billion over a 3-year period on lobbying efforts. And some people believe that's more than what they've spent on promoting and developing alternative fuels, which they claim to believe in. So this is something that we absolutely have to shine a spotlight on. And I do think that the tobacco industry hearings provide an analogy to what's going on right now.
How much of this do you think is just about changing lobbying rules, the way that these lobbyists interact with members of Congress?
I think there's a lot there, and obviously we need to pass H.R. 1 and other similar measures which tackle some of these issues. But obviously right now, in the next few weeks, as we're trying to push through reconciliation, some really important changes, such as funding electric vehicle charging stations, which, by the way, the fossil fuel industry is opposing, or being able to speed the process or the transition to alternative fuels, which, again, the fossil fuel industry is opposing. We need to shine a spotlight on how they are opposing these things so the American people know as they decide on what to do next.
All right, Congressman Krishnamoorthi, as always.